Hey, it's Captain Roger. I almost forgot to go for a walk today. It's late, but check this out. Look at that sunset flaring up in the sky up there. Beautiful part of God's creation. So, as we've been trying to stick up with our walks here, we've come to kind of a weird section of the Bible called Leviticus, which is mostly rules set up around how people were expected to worship God. And then there's this set of rules about food and what is called clean food or unclean food. And as part of their walk with God, they were expected to live in such a way that they ate certain things and not other things. And God really never explains why this is. And in modern age, we look back and say, well, it could be because of certain health issues, both in the way that people used to have and process some of these items, or in the diseases they might carry, or just the health of the person. And that's all possible. And like I said, we don't really know. God never explains. But I think one of the main things is just to see who's actually going to walk with God and who's going to kind of walk with God, which is to say, not walk with Him at all. Because if your neighbors are all eating pork chops and you are not allowed, you might start looking at their barbecue, smelling their smoker, and thinking, maybe God wouldn't mind if I just wandered off on my own for a little bit. But the reality was, He did. That's because when you learn to walk with God in the small things, it makes a difference on how you react about the big things. In our lives, the things that we practice are the things that we do. As we get older, we become more like ourselves. And the more little exceptions you have allowed into your life, the more likely you are to compromise when a large exception comes up. Or think about a time of crisis and how people act in a time of crisis. If you are having a serious struggle with some problem, or planes going down, or you've got lots of stress in your life, or whatever it is, how are you likely to react? Are you likely to stop and sit back and think to yourself, how do I behave wholly in this situation? Or are you more likely to just do whatever it is you've been practicing? If you're someone who never takes time to pray, how are you ever going to think in that time of desperate need, maybe I just need to stop for a minute and check with God, right? So when you walk with God, you don't just walk in the big things. You walk in everything. If you're not walking with God, you're not walking with God. It's as simple as that. Speaking of which, I better finish my walk. As you can tell, it's starting to get dark. Have a good night. Grace and peace to y'all. I'll see you earlier tomorrow.